All right, you guys, welcome to Technical Tuesdays. I'm your host, Maria, and today we're going to be talking about the transition to the close. So obviously this is a super important part of the demo. Without a transition to the close, you're not going to close, right? So if you've ever had trouble closing or wanted to get better at closing, then listen up, this is for you. What's the point of the transition to close? Basically, the point is to carry the prospect's excitement forward about the product. You know, they just got excited about the return of premium, what this could do for them and their family, all the different things. And we want to continue that excitement so they actually pick up the product instead of just being excited about it in theory. Another really important thing is to fulfill the promise that they made in the buying atmosphere to give you a yes or a no today. Another point of the buying atmosphere is to create momentum with positive energy. So when our body has a physiological reaction when we're saying yes, a positivity reaction. It makes us feel better, feel good to say yes. So just kind of continuing that feeling with the prospect. And basically, guys, it's a lot smoother than just saying, so you want to buy this? If you've ever tried that, that doesn't work. That's why it's not in the sales talk. Real quick, you guys, I wanted to leave this as an open question. So somebody, if you've ever done this, please shout it out. What happens if we accidentally skip this transition to close? If we go right from explaining the return of premium to starting to, let's see if you qualify, what happens? I'm going to wait till someone answers.
You lose the engagement of the client, why they're so excited about what you just told them about.
Exactly. Yeah, it just kind of, it seems a little abrupt. They might get a little bit confused and not really know what's going on. They might say something like, wait, am I signing up for this? Or, like there's just a disconnect and then it gets really awkward. And that's why we have the transition to close so that it's not so awkward, right? So how do you know when to do the transition to close, guys? It's not written down anywhere in the demo in the mobile sales app. So your cue is when you're swiping through, you do the return of premium, you do the survivor benefit, and then you can't swipe anymore. Then you're like, what do I do next? Little application button pops up. You're like, oh, cool, that's my cue to do my transition to close. And if you're not sure what to say during the transition to close, I always remember this in my head: what, why, and how. What, why, and how. So as soon as I can't swipe anymore, I'm saying to myself, what, why, and how. Now, you guys, if you remember that, then you will always have a good transition to close every single time. So basically, I wanted to quickly break down, word for word of the transition to close, the what and the why. So one thing we do in the transition to close is either show photos of former clients, or if we're new, we don't have a bunch of selfies yet, we're going to show the names list, because every turf has a names list, even if you have 0 clients, if it's your first day. So we always show the photos or the names list, because that lets the prospect know they're not all alone. We're not just singling them out of the town to show them a policy. And it also reminds them of all the reasons to get this. So if you do have more selfies, more clients, or if you do have a larger names list, you can kind of tailor this. So if I'm talking to a young person, I'm going to show other selfies of young people. If I'm talking to an older person, I'll show more older people. Or if I'm talking to a single mom, then the reasons I share might be a little bit different than if I'm talking to somebody who's already retired. You can almost suggest reasons why you think they should get this by using kind of a third-party story. So an example of that, and we'll role play this in a minute here, but an example, let's say I'm talking to a single mom. I might show a selfie with me with another single mom and say, hey, she said that, since she's the only income, she just really liked the peace of mind knowing that if something happened, that her and her little one would be okay. Because any single mom I'm talking to, they're going to resonate with that. If I'm talking to a retired person and I say, so-and-so picked this up because he's worked really hard his whole life in order to be able to retire at 65. And he does not want under any circumstances to have to blow through his retirement and have to go back to work. So that's why he picked this up. And then a retired person I'm talking to would be like, oh yeah, I can see that, without me telling them why they need it. So that's, the first step. And then asking, what did you like best? Now that you've heard these 3 reasons that I suggested to you, basically. And that's, getting them to sell themselves on the idea. That's them turning inward and thinking to themselves, what do I like best about this? And kind of running back through their mind about it. And then to kind of affirm that, asking them, why is that your favorite part? Or why would that make sense for you? And you can even preface it with, sometimes I'll say, hey, this might be kind of a silly question, but why is it so important for you to have that peace of mind? And then they'll take it seriously. They'll be like, oh, well, blah, 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 whatever. It gets them to kind of restate their choice in different words, affirm it. And sometimes they even kind of add an additional reason. You're like, okay, cool. So it sounds like blah, blah, blah. And then part 3. So that was the what, the why, and then the how is, how would you feel knowing you have that peace of mind or that backup plan or whatever they said? And best case scenario, you don't have to use it. That's just a bunch of money you're saving up to get back later. Then the reason we do that is to remind them of the best part, how it's no risk. And it should be super obvious that they should do this, obviously, right? It makes a lot of sense, right? And then they might say something like, oh, I feel pretty good about that, right? And you're like, right. And that's why so many people end up getting this. That's why so many business owners end up getting this. That's why so many moms end up picking this up. So many young people, whoever you're talking to, that's why so many people like you end up picking this up. And we do that to let them know, again, you're not alone. Everyone's getting this. All the moms are doing it. All the kids are doing it, whatever, whoever you're talking to. And then one thing I like to add, just to get them to say yes one more time, is, and while I'm nodding my head vigorously, can you see how having this would make a lot of sense for you? Just nodding my head. And they're usually like, yeah, I can see it, or something like that. And then that's when I'm like, cool, before I can offer it to you, just a couple questions to see if you qualify. And then when we actually open up the application, we do the questions or whatever, and then it's like, cool, you qualify, congratulations. So for the application part, do you get your mail at your house or the post office, or whatever question you start with in the application? That lets them know, yeah, we're starting the application, so that if you're going to get a rebuttal or an objection rather, hopefully you get it right now and you can just get that rebuttal out of the way and go through the rest of the application without it being too tricky. So hopefully that part helps a little bit. But yeah, guys, the whole point is to fulfill the promise that they made in the buying atmosphere. So remember, back a couple minutes ago, we said, hey, I'm going to run you through this. And when I get done, the only favor I ask is, if it makes sense, fits the budget, and you're healthy enough to qualify, give me a simple yes, and we'll get you protected today, like all these other people on this names list right here. And if it doesn't make sense for you, just give me a simple no. I promise you won't hurt my feelings. But is that fair enough? Just give me a simple yes or a definite no thanks when we get done. And they agree, yeah, we can do that. We confirm it. You know why I asked that. And then fulfill 5 minutes later, the transition to close. Can you see how having this makes sense? Yes. Okay, cool. They just fulfilled the buying atmosphere promise. That is their indication that they're ready for you to start the application. And that also gives you the right to start using rebuttals completely guilt-free. Because if we skip a buying atmosphere and we skip a transition to close, and we didn't tell them that they're going to make a decision today, and we didn't tell them that they're starting to fill out the application, then no wonder they're a little bit confused. And then if we start using rebuttals there and we never really told them the rules of the game, they're probably going to be like, what the heck's going on? But if we made the rules of the game very clear and they chose to break the rules, then it's okay for us to remind them of their promise by using our rebuttal response system word for word. So I hope that makes sense, you guys. Highly, highly recommend reviewing this part of your sales talk. It's all in there. What appeals to you the most? Was it the peace of mind, security, or a combination of it all? Why is the peace of mind so important for you? Or why is it so important for you to have a backup plan for yourself or your family? Whatever they said, you kind of tailor that. And then finally, how would it make you feel knowing that that you would have that peace of mind, but also know that if you just stay healthy, you'll be getting all that money back down the road? How does that make you feel? Not bad, right? Okay, cool. Right. That's why so many people end up getting this. And the best part is the application process. It's really simple. So I do see a lot of people skipping that, and they just talk about return of premium. And just because someone says return of premium's cool, then they kind of like, cool, let's see if you qualify. And that's just a little bit too abrupt. We definitely want people to kind of come full circle and remember a little bit more details of why they like this, and more importantly, why they need this and think it's a good idea for them and their family. So what I'm going to do now for you guys is me and Jason are going to kind of run through the latter part of the demo right from the price buildup page. So you can kind of see how I do this. He's going to hit me with a couple objections and we're going to move on from there. So let's see, I'm going to go ahead and find my demo. Here we are. All right, cool. Jason, can you see my screen?
I cannot.
Have I been sharing the screen this whole time?
Nope. We've been looking at a picture of me, which is painful.
Oh, guys.
I was kind of noticing it was kind of like Easter colored tie too. I thought it was wicked cool.
Hey, thank you, Jason. I appreciate it. That's one of my favorite ties.
That's so funny, you guys. I've been sharing a PowerPoint this whole time. You guys got to let me know. That's funny. Oh, well.
Sorry about that. Now there's 4 of us with our cameras on.
Okay. Anyway.
There you go.
Well, here's my screen.
Beautiful. Perfect.
So Jason, let's pretend we were looking at a cancer demo just for the sake of illustration, and we're going to skip the benefits and we're going to pick up right at the price buildup page. Okay.
Got it.
So, Jason, had you ever looked at how much health insurance would cost if you had to pay for it totally out of pocket?
My wife does the health insurance, but I think it's roughly for the whole family, maybe $120, $140 a week out of the paycheck, something like that.
What, 120 to 140 a week, something like that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's not too crazy. See, back in 2018, the average family was paying $1,634 a month for their health insurance.
Wow.
Now, do you think that's gone up or down since 2018?
Since the eggs and the meat are going up, I'm guessing the insurance is also going up.
Yeah, you're right. Jason, I talked to a couple yesterday. They've got 2 kiddos and they own a business. They're paying $2,500 a month for their health insurance and they still have a high deductible. So it's kind of crazy out there. Yeah. But fortunately, Jason, what I just showed you is not going to be $2,500 or $2,000 like health insurance. Between you and your wife, who's younger?
My wifey, I got lucky by 2
There we
months. She's 38 years old.
She's 38 years old. Awesome. And so guys, you do not need to show the prospect this page right here. So pretend I'm not showing Jason the screen right now. Okay. So, okay, cool. So Jason, for your family, our Elite 8 coverage that we just talked about, that's not going to be $2,500 or $2,000 a month like health insurance. The Elite 8 for cancer and ICU combined, that's just $147.90 for the whole family. And then our preferred, that's just $80.70. That's not bad at all, right? That's cheaper than taking your wife out, isn't it?
Yes, tailgate special at Bojangles. Tell me about it.
There we go. And Jason, the best part is that return of premium. So our program makes sense even if you never have to file a claim. We refund your premium less any claims paid after 25 years, 100% tax-free. Just so I can show you the math on that, Jason, did you want me to show you with that preferred 4 price or that Elite 8 price?
I mean, I reckon if I'm going to do it, I'm going to go for the Elite 8.
Alrighty. So again, he's not seeing my screen when I'm looking at the price page. So as far as he's concerned, we talked about Elite 8 and preferred 4, and we're still talking about Elite 8 or preferred 4 as the only 2 options. So we got, okay, cool, Jason. So now I'm showing him my calculator. So we've got $147.90 times 12 times 25. So not too bad, Jason. You'd be getting back $44,370 just for not getting cancer. Not too bad, huh?
Maria, is that tax-free?
Yes, sir.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. You can start paying for your kids' weddings, right? Just kidding. They're never getting married. And then, of course, Jason, God forbid you or your spouse passed away when you had this coverage. All your premium would go to your beneficiary, whether that's your kids, your aunt, or whoever. It's just nice knowing that your money never disappears into thin air, right?
Well, how in the heck do y'all make money if y'all ain't getting nothing from me? That's crazy.
That's funny. That's a great question, Jason. People ask that a lot. It shows you have good business sense. You know how other insurance companies have really funny commercials? Like you've probably seen Aflac, Liberty National, Geico. They've got really funny commercials on TV, right?
That's right.
Well, that costs a lot of money, obviously. So we choose not to do that. And instead we invest our money back into our return of premium benefit. And, you know, just like banks and other insurance companies, we do invest the premium while we hold it just to kind of have a strong financial standing. But instead
wow.
of keeping the initial principal, we give that back to you guys. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but great question, Jason. And now that you've seen the whole thing, Jason, different families choose to get protected for different reasons. So Dr. Randy, he picked this up just because him and his wife are the only, you know, they're the only doctors in their practice. And he said, if something happened to one of us, we'd have to shut down our business and there goes all of our income. So he just liked the peace of mind of knowing that he has a backup plan in case something were to happen. And this is Andy, the administrator at Richfield Living. He picked this plan up because it pays him cash directly. He said, listen, Maria, I know how to allocate my money better than some company. I just like knowing I have cash and I can do what I want to do with it. And then Julia and Sergey, they just really appreciated the return of premium. You know, they've got an 11-year-old and a 4-year-old, and they said, golly, Maria, I'm sure not planning on getting cancer, but I like knowing the fact that, you know, it's either paying me if I need it, or it's money I'm saving up later that I probably wouldn't have saved otherwise.
Right.
But what stood out to you the most, Jason? What did you like best?
I mean, I still can't get over that I get my money back if I don't use it. It sounds like it's too good to be true, but yeah, that's my favorite part, getting that money back. Not
You
throwing
like
it
that
away.
return of premium?
Oh yeah.
And Jason, this might be kind of a silly question, but why would it be so important for you to have that return of premium?
I mean, you can use it like a rainy day fund, like you said, you know, for a wedding 25 years down the road or something. I mean, just having it there. But I guess if something happens, that it's also there to use. So, like I said, it's almost too good to be true.
I hear you, Jason. A lot of people do say that at first, but I mean, at the end of the day, if you're going through something like cancer, you know, wouldn't you rather have something that seems too good to be true, but actually is true?
Yeah. Yeah.
In fact, you kind of remind me of this lady right here, Miss Annie. She said, I was very happy to know that everything I was told about this insurance was true. She's right here in Garner, North Carolina, Jason. So she's with you on that. But well, Jason, can you see how something like this will just make a lot of sense for your family?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
100%. Well, before I can offer it to you, Jason, let's just make sure your family qualifies real quick. So let's say he answered note all the questions. I'm like, congrats, you qualified, Jason. Woohoo.
All right.
So for the application part, who would be the beneficiary who's going to get all that money if you and your wife pass away?
Well, hold up, Marie. Is this me signing up for it, or what am I doing now?
Absolutely, Jason. Who would you want to get all that money if you and your wife passed away?
I don't know. I mean, what is it? 147. I mean, I'm probably gonna have to talk to the wife about that. I mean, that's a lot of money. I mean, I don't know. I don't know about signing up right now.
Hey, that's okay, Jason. I've honestly had a handful of families that felt the exact same way at first. And I wanted to share this with you. This was Scott. He said, honestly, years ago when my wife suggested that we purchase this policy, I was totally against it. As the person who took care of the monthly budget and paid the bills, I struggled to find the money for the added expense each month. Needless to say, I am glad my wife talked me into doing this. And Jason, not long after he signed up for this plan, Scott got diagnosed with cancer, and we paid him out $40,605. Not that he planned on using it, it just happened. Now, obviously, I hope and pray that nothing like this ever happens to you or your family, but you never can tell. Isn't that true? And we both know that sometimes the best treatment can be pretty expensive and it can be pretty far away too. And gosh, Jason, if all this policy did was give you the peace of mind, knowing that you could focus on getting better instead of just stressing about money, it'd be well worth having, wouldn't it?
Yeah, my wife's actually a chemotherapy nurse. She gives chemo to cancer patients. So yeah, you're right.
I think your
Yeah.
wife she would agree with you then. Smart choice.
Yeah.
So did you want to name your kids as the beneficiary?
No, we're gonna go with my sister-in-law. But yeah.
Okay, cool. Jason's sister-in-law, cool, whatever. And then keep on going from there. So, and then if he gives me another objection, I move on to rebuttal number 2. And guys, we're not using rebuttals necessarily if someone is like, yep, I've seen the whole thing and this does not make sense for me whatsoever. And they're just like, nope, solid no, thank you for your help. But if they're saying, yeah, this makes sense for me, and yeah, I could see how this would make a lot of sense for my family. I like this part, I like this part. And they're telling you the whole time that basically they need the plan. And we've done a good buying atmosphere, we've done a good transition to close, then we're actually doing them a disservice if we do not use the rebuttals. Because you guys, as much as we like to think we're helping someone by leaving a brochure, how much is that brochure going to pay them when they go through cancer? If you leave them your card, probably they're going to lose it, or it's going to go in the trash can, quite frankly, or they're going to remember it after they get their diagnosis. And what can you do at that point? Here you go, right? So guys, it's our job, it's our responsibility, if we're trying to truly serve people, to do our very best demo every time. Find the need, build the need, just do the demo, essentially. But the buying atmosphere and the transition to close are really important parts. And then the rebuttal is part of the demo too. I know it's kind of the last thing we look at because it's the last part of the demo, and some people don't really memorize it until a while in, but it's really important to at least give it a shot every time, because if our job is really to get out here and protect families, sometimes it takes a couple rebuttals to do so. And years down the road when they make a claim, they're not going to remember that you used a rebuttal on them. They're just going to know they have a policy. And that's really all they're going to remember. So I've got time for a couple questions, you guys, if anybody has anything.
Well, it's actually more just a compliment. Thank you so much. Literally, this is what I was kind of struggling with. And the fact that we were able to listen to all this amazing advice, just thank you. It was awesome.
Absolutely, Daisy. Thank you for that feedback. I appreciate it. Glad I could
So
help.
I have a question, Maria. How many testimonials do you read during your average demo?
Oh gosh, you could ask Adam Woody. I think yesterday I read too many to one lady and she was kind of like, what are you doing? But I think I usually read maybe 4. I'll usually read 2 in the part where it's like your client, whatever. I usually read 1 in the benefits somewhere. Like I usually read an ICU benefit for the ICU part. And then I've been doing my best to incorporate the CLITES claims somewhere in there, just to kind of remind them of a simple yes or no. I forgot about that for a while, but I've tried to bring it back recently upon Van's suggestion. So typically 4, and then in the rebuttals, I might read 1 or 2 more. So depends.
Okay.
And
Thanks.
if they're not giving me any trouble, then I don't have to do as many, but yeah.
Does everybody know the CLITES claim, the CLITES IRA?
Here, I can send that out if not. I'll send that on.
No, I
Box.
don't.
That's
Yeah,
the
I'll send that on Box.
procrastination one, right?
Yeah, it is.
It is. And guys, I don't want to take this over, but you don't have to wait until you get an objection to answer an objection. Meaning, when a person says yes, they'll give you a yes or no today in the buying atmosphere. Remember, you've got about 15 minutes of, we're doing about 15 more minutes of demo before we're going into the close. Maybe 12, shouldn't be that long, but because we should be selling the sizzle, not the steak. But that's just long enough for people to forget their commitment to you to give you a yes or no. And in all fairness, a lot of people, when they say yes, they'll give you a yes or no, they're assuming that it's going to be a no. They don't think they're going to want it. They don't think they're going to need it. But then all of a sudden they start seeing this killer product and they're like, this makes a lot of sense. I should consider getting this. I'm going to get a card or a brochure and go home and think about it. So before you go into the close, reading that Kleitz claim, and Maria, you can share your screen if you want to, so people can see it. But and just saying, hey, I really, again, you're wrapping up, you're showing the ICU benefits, and you say, let me share with you this testimonial from the Kleitz family. Richard and there we go. Richard and Elizabeth picked this up, and Richard unfortunately was diagnosed with cancer of the mouth, and he said here, Elizabeth wrote, we were very happy with the way Family Heritage came through us during this trying time. We had just signed up for the cancer insurance 1 month, and the next month my husband was diagnosed with mouth cancer. Thank goodness we didn't procrastinate like we sometimes do and signed on when we did. You never know what the future holds. And Maria, it really is true. You never know what the future holds, do you?
No, I guess not.
And really, nobody wins with procrastination, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I really appreciate you agreeing to give me just a simple yes or a no back at the beginning before we show the demonstration. I really do appreciate that. Now I've just seen the whole policy. Let me share with you what a few other folks liked about it. Transition to close. Guys, can you see how that can kind of remind a person of their commitment to a yes or no from earlier before you're going into that close?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Try it today. See what happens.
All right. Awesome. Thank you, Van. I've got time for one more question. If anybody has anything. Let's see.
I'll keep the party going. If you could use the crystal ball and just show everybody how you deliver it, because
Okay.
it's one thing to read it without sounding like a jagoff. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, cool. I'll do that one. All right, sweet. So, hey, Jason, I totally understand where you're coming from. And honestly, a lot of people feel that same way. And so there's really only one of 3 ways this could play out. So let me show you what that looks like. I guess, obviously you or I can't tell the future, right? But let's just say, for example's sake, that there's a crystal ball sitting in front of us now. There's one of 3 scenarios that could happen. First case scenario, let's say, you pick up this plan, you never get cancer, everyone stays healthy, it's all good. And 25 years from now, I come back and give you a return of premium check for all your premium that you put into this. How would you feel in that case?
Great,
obviously, right? Now, Jason, the crystal ball could also show us, 3 years from now, and your wife gets diagnosed with breast cancer, and they've got to take her down to MD Anderson because it's just some kind of weird variant that they can't handle right here in North Carolina. And you're not working for 6 months. She's not working for 6 months to a year. You still got your kids, and you had this policy, and we paid you guys out, $60,000, $100,000. How would you feel about your decision to purchase this policy today?
I feel great.
Great, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, Jason, we hope and pray that doesn't happen. And then Jason, or, the third scenario, God forbid, you didn't pick up this policy today and your wife still got diagnosed with breast cancer and you guys still weren't working and doing all this travel and, the uncertainty and all that, how would you feel about your decision today?
I'd be disappointed in myself if I didn't get it.
Now, Jason, again, I don't know the future and neither do you, but it just shows that the only way you lose is if you don't have the policy and you need it. And since you're getting your premiums back either way, it just makes a lot more sense to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. That makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah. That's awesome, man.
So guys, it's about delivering it with empathy. We're not fencing with people. We're not telling people that they're wrong. We're just saying, hey, listen, I get it. It's not me versus you. It's me and you versus the problem. We're on the same side. We're just trying to see if this makes sense for you. We're just trying to make it make sense and explain it to you. So yeah, there's that. Anything else, you guys? I think we're good.
Thank you for going over that, Maria.
You're welcome, Mark. So yeah, you guys, I want to announce our special incentive today. So we're doing something called Monster Tuesday. So kind of like Monster Monday, but on a Tuesday. So let's see here. So basically, if you do 10 plus hours and 8 plus demos and a family protected, if you're a new agent, so if you have not yet written an Eagle, and if you have not yet been here a year, then if you do 10 hours, 8 demos, and 1 family protected, you will earn the Monster Tuesday prize. If you've been here for a year or longer, or if you have written an Eagle in a past, same hours, 10 hours, same 8 demos, but you need to protect 2 families during the prize. So Van, what is the prize?
Yeah, guys. That's right. It's Monster Tuesday. Guys, the prize for this week is going to be, drum roll please, think about how long has it been since you and your significant other went out, just the 2 of you, just together, just a dinner and a movie. Just something to keep the romance going, guys. A lot of our significant others, their love language is quality time. It's thinking about them. It's getting back to them. So what a great way to do that. So today is $100 date night gift certificate. All you do is go out on that date, spend up to $100. It can be $80 on dinner and $20 on the movie, however you want to slice it and dice it. Or do something completely different. Go rock climbing, whatever you 2 want to do together. And it's on the house, it's on the agency. So here's one thing you need to do though. Send your significant other or spouse a quick text right now or a phone call and let them know about this. Hey, honey, we're doing a Monster Tuesday incentive, 10 hours, 8 demonstrations and a family protected, and we get a date night. So, hey, it's 8:30. That means I got to go until 6:30. I might be 30 minutes a little late for dinner if you can keep it warm for me, or start it a little bit later. But I'm going to do this for you, babe. Guys, it'll go a long way. So dig in, work for somebody else today. You can't be nervous when your mind's on service, whether it's on your clients or whether it's somebody that you love and interact with every day. So make today count, because guys, you can waste $1 and make it back. You can destroy a piece of property and rebuild it. But guys, you waste 1 day, you waste 1 hour. You can never get that back for the rest of your life. It's gone. So let's make Tuesday, April 4th matter, because it absolutely does. Thanks for being on, guys. Let's have a Monster Tuesday.
Have a good day, you guys. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.